Satan urinated in his ears? Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some nasty and some dirty hadiths about the Muslims prophet Muhammad. You may have heard that he dated a 6-year-old, or married actually a 6-year-old, and consummated the marriage, which means to have, you know what I mean, at 9. I'm going to pull up a hadith very soon about that. But first we're going to talk about some nasty hadith that I just found here. Now before we start, make sure to subscribe and like, and feel free to drop a comment. Now the first hadith I'm going to pull up is going to be Sahih Muslim 1453a, the book of suckling, chapter breastfeeding in adults.
Messenger of Allah, I see on the face of Abu Haifa signs of disgust on entering of Salim, who is an ally, into our house, whereupon Allah's apostle said, "Suckle him." She said, "How can I suckle him, as he is a grown man?" Allah's messenger smiled and said, "I already know that he's a young man." Ammar has made this addition in his narration that he participated in the battle of Badr, and in the narration of Ibn Umar, the words are, Allah's messenger left.
Now what type of freaky and nasty thing is he promoting and just talking about here? He's talking about a grown woman to breastfeed a grown man. Now I'm not judging anybody that does this, but in my opinion this is pretty nasty. And he decides to say he already knows he's a young man and smiled while he said it. This is some freaky stuff, and I'm gonna tell you how to prepare for more.
There should be a bedding for a man, a bedding for his wife, and the third one for the guest, and the fourth one is for the Satan.
Now, I don't know about the Prophet Muhammad talking about Satan like this. He's saying to have a bed for Satan. Now, I'm not going to dive too deep in this, but all I'm going to say is this is pretty weird. The Prophet Muhammad having 4 beds and one of them is for Satan.
A man manumitted a slave, and he had no other property than that. So the Prophet canceled the manumission and sold the slave for him.
Imagine you being a slave, right? And you're being let go, but the Prophet's like, nope, we're not going to let him go. I'm going to buy him and I'm going to put him back into slavery. This is just crazy. I mean, this is crazy that Muslims know about these hadiths and still continue to be in Islam.
We used to sell our slave women and the mothers of our children when the Prophet was still living among us, and we did not see anything wrong with that.
So the Prophet and the people around him didn't see anything wrong with selling slaves? I mean, that is just morally bad, and I don't know. I'm not really gonna dive too deep into this.
The Prophet asked Abu Bakr for Aisha's hand in marriage. Abu Bakr said, "But I am your brother." The Prophet said, "You are my brother in Allah's religion and his book, but she, Aisha, is lawful for me to marry."
Now, imagine your brother asking to marry your 6-year-old daughter. This is, pretty nasty and disgusting.
A person was mentioned before the Prophet, and he was told that he had kept on sleeping till morning and had not got up for the prayer. The Prophet said, "Satan urinated in his ears."
Man, what's wrong with Muhammad and Satan? This is just like weird. He keeps talking about Satan in multiple hadiths, and I'm sure there's hundreds or more hadiths that talk about him and Satan. Seems like he has a really good relationship with him. Let's not skip over the part that Satan urinated in his ears. Man, this is some pretty nasty stuff, Muhammad. Now, if I was a Muslim shown this, I would leave Islam immediately. I would duck out of the masjid. I would leave Islam. I hope some Muslims really think about these hadiths and think about how morally bad Muhammad was and the people around him. Muhammad is nasty and disgusting, but Jesus is not, and he will set you free. Have a good day, and make sure to subscribe and like and comment down below.